What's up everyone? Welcome to the channel, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. So we recently hit 100 subscribers on the channel, and I just wanted to do a little something to kind of celebrate that. I know 100 isn't a huge number in the grand scheme of things, but for me, it's quite a big deal because doing something like this just always felt like an idea to me. It never felt like something I was actually going to be doing. So now that I'm doing it, putting myself in a room with 100 people is a lot for me. So I just want to extend my thanks to everyone who has subscribed, liked, commented, or even just watched any of my videos so far. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So I'm going to do an anime tier list just of the shows that I've watched up to this point. It's not a really big list, but I think the point of this is to kind of show everyone what I've seen, what I like, just to kind of give an idea to people about what shows I could potentially be watching in the future as well. And I'm going to give my own little spill about each show. I'm going to go chronologically in the order that I watched each show, how I got into it, how it made me feel. And I will preface this, I'm sure I probably don't even need to say this at this point, but this is my personal list. If I don't have your favorite show in the top tier, that doesn't mean it's a bad show. It just means it wasn't for me. But I don't think I have any shows that I've seen so far that I thought were horrible. Just some that weren't as good as others, for various reasons that I'll explain when I get to them. I haven't thought much, outside of a few obvious shows, about where each show is going to go tier-wise. I kind of want to surprise myself with where I end up putting some shows. I think I might end up changing things around once I get to the end of this. But I did think about, like, what is an S-tier show for me? Like, what makes a show top tier for me? And I think what it comes down to me, and I'm sure this is probably quite a common thing for a lot of people, but it's how the show makes me feel. Whether it's from plot twists, character moments, animation, fight scenes, or just themes or big moments in general, if it makes me feel a certain way, then it's top tier. And I'll be able to explain what that is when I get to the shows that are going top tier. But I'm not going to waste any more time. This might end up being quite a long video if I decide to ramble on about shows too much. So thank you all again for 100 subscribers. I have so much planned for this channel. More shows I'm going to watch, more little things like this, and I'm just having so much fun and I want to keep that going. So thank you all again. Let's get into this anime tier list. Okay, so like I said at the start, I have these set up in chronological order. With the exception of Dragon Ball Super, I've just got that next to Dragon Ball Z because it makes the most sense, as I'll get into as I explain the first few. So I have, it's pretty standard, S, A, B, C. I don't even know if anything's going to make it into C tier, we'll find out. And I have not finished because there's a few on here that I've started and plan to finish, or got a good amount of the way through and stopped. Some of those I will still rank, but some of those will end up down here. But I'm just going to get into it now. So we're starting with a pretty big one for me, and I'm sure a lot of people will feel the same about this, but Dragon Ball Z, this is a really easy rank for me. Straight up into S tier. Look, I grew up with this show. It was my childhood show, along with Naruto and One Piece, which I'll get to very shortly. But I remember countless mornings before school, Dragon Ball Z is on. I had videotapes of it from way back in the day, and it was my childhood. But I remember the first time I sat down and watched the entire series, like from the Saiyan saga through to the end of the Buu saga. It was one specific summer, like during high school, and I just devoted that to watching Dragon Ball Z, and it is the baseline for how a show makes me feel. Like, it's just incredible. Like, nothing can motivate you the way Dragon Ball Z does. I was a massive Gohan fan. Gohan going Super Saiyan 2, the whole fight with Cell, the father-son Kamehameha was my all-time just TV moment in general. Anything from a show, that was the best thing ever. I was obsessed with it. I still am. But I'm incredibly blessed to have been exposed to moments that were even greater than that. But that was the benchmark for me. But there were so many moments throughout Dragon Ball Z that made me feel, you know, the S tier way, so to speak. Goku going Super Saiyan the first time, Gohan's Super Saiyan 2, when Super Saiyan 3 came into the mix, Vegeta's final atonement, just to name a few. But the show is just, it holds up. even today. It's just fantastic. I could go on about this forever, but I won't for the sake of this video's length. So I've put Dragon Ball Super right after Dragon Ball Z. I probably watched it maybe around here. I missed the first batch of episodes when it started airing, but I think when the Future Trunks arc with Goku Black came around was when I was up to date, and I was up to date with it the whole way through to the end of the Tournament of Power. This I actually thought about a lot, and initially I was here with it. And my initial reasoning for it not being up here in S tier was I think I'd be putting it there just because it's related to Dragon Ball Z. But then I started to think more about what I was saying earlier. Does this show consistently make me feel the same way that Dragon Ball Z does? And when I sat down and thought about my favorite moments from Dragon Ball Super, it was not a question. I think the lows in Dragon Ball Super were a lot lower than the low points of Dragon Ball Z. And I'm just talking about like filler and like random arcs and things like that. But the highs in Dragon Ball Super are fantastic. And I think they hit a lot harder for me because I was a lot older and more mature. And I think Vegeta is a fantastic character to attest that to, because I think as you get older, you understand Vegeta's character so much more, just what he's been through and the kind of person that he is. So throughout Dragon Ball Z, I was Gohan. Gohan was my guy. Throughout Super, and obviously we see what happens to Gohan throughout Super, but I became a massive Vegeta fan. And the Tournament of Power just sealed that for me. I think my personal all-time favorite moment in Super, the moment that I always go back to, like if I need gym motivation or for anything, is when Vegeta goes Super Saiyan Blue Evolution or Royal Blue, whatever it's called. Just that moment and the things he's saying to himself, just the way he just pulls it out of him is just, it just makes me feel that way. Of course, Ultra Instinct, Mastered Ultra Instinct, Goku and Frieza teaming up to beat Jiren. These are just Tournament of Power things. We can go back. Trunks's Super Saiyan form, Super Saiyan Rage, I think people call it, in the Goku Black arc, phenomenal. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, I literally did not know that was coming when I watched that. It was Ultra Instinct got spoiled a little bit, like you knew it was coming. But Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken came completely out of the blue for me, and it shocked me. And then that whole exchange of Goku and Hit, that whole episode with the theme playing in the background, that was top tier. And there are other great moments as well. Golden Frieza, Super Saiyan Blue in general, and just the introductions of all the other universes and everything. It does the job. It absolutely does the trick for me. So Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, S tier for me. They have those moments that make me feel that way. And that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so Naruto and One Piece. So obviously One Piece right now is still running. So automatically it goes here, but it's been going long enough that you can rank it. But it does go here for me, as does Naruto. So I said before, these were also my childhood shows. Like they were the shows that were running alongside Dragon Ball for me when I was a kid, like in the mornings before school. So I vividly remember as a child, seeing up to the end of the Chunin exams in Naruto and up to the Grand Line in One Piece, which I think is within the first 100 episodes, right? Because I've actually started watching that again, and that's about where I'm at. So I remember all of that from when I was a child. And then Dragon Ball just took up all of my time, right? So I've tried to watch Naruto again in the past, and I've made it up to a little bit after the Chunin exams. And One Piece, like I said, I'm about 100 episodes in. I'm not ranking these purely because I don't think I've seen enough of the show. Obviously, I know about things that happen, and they're things I absolutely want to watch, like so badly, but it's just the time commitment, you know? And I'm sure they will end up here, but I really enjoy these shows, and I'm hoping with this channel, I can commit some time over the course of a few years, perhaps. But that's where I'm at with these. I know these are fantastic shows. I just have not seen enough of them to properly rank them and give an explanation. Okay, and now we get properly into when I started dabbling in animes outside of these big three. So I started with Death Note. It's probably a show I will never go back to. I did not finish it. I could not tell you where I stopped. I think a lot of people that have seen Death Note will probably understand based on things that I've heard as well. I enjoyed it. Really cool concept with the Shinigami, and it was really different. Like, it's obviously not an action-packed anime, I can't even remember enough of it to really explain. Like, it was very, like, I guess, psychological. But I think when I think back to Death Note, I think it was a great place for me to have started. So I didn't finish it, so I don't think I can rank it any higher than this because of the fact it didn't grip me enough to want to finish it. And I wish I could give more of a spill on how I feel about it. It was probably, I reckon, 6 years ago at this point that I watched it. But for the sake of the journey, of showing the whole picture, that's why it's on the list. And then I dabbled in Fate. So Fate was a series that always like gripped me. Like, I would see clips and pictures of it and I'm like, this looks really interesting. I'm not really sure what the overarching thing was that led me to watching Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works first, but I am so glad that I did. It was fantastic, and I would watch this as a standalone. My knowledge of Fate past this and Fate Zero does not go that far. I know there is so much more. I know there's an original Fate Stay Night and so many other Fates. I don't know how they connect. I don't know if they're all relevant to each other. But all I know is that Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works was fantastic. The reason it's not S tier for me is because when I think back, I watched it one time, probably 5-6 years ago. I really enjoyed it. Like, it gripped me. Plot twists, characters, animation, fights, fantastic. But when I think back, I never had any of those crazy moments that just filled me with like motivation and epicness. Not to take anything away from it, I thought it was fantastic. And I absolutely would watch it again. I've actually been thinking about doing that again just to kind of give myself a refresher if I ever feel like getting into more Fate series for this channel even. But yeah, Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, fantastic, very good. And then I continued my Fate journey with Zero. I watched 5 episodes. It felt really slow. I know it has some great moments later on and towards the end. I saw one specific clip of Saber at some point, and that was what made me start watching it, but it just didn't grip me at the beginning the way that Unlimited Blade Works did. And it's something I do want to go back to and finish, maybe on this channel, who knows? But I know there are going to be moments in here that I'll enjoy, and it'll probably end up being in the same tier as Unlimited Blade Works. Tokyo Ghoul. Pretty much the same as Fate Zero. I think I started it twice, watched the first 2 or 3 episodes, and I had the same issue. It just didn't grip me. I know it's a great anime, one of the best openings of all time, by the way, but it just didn't grip me. I think the concept is really cool. I can't really recall too much of what happened. It was just a couple episodes, but I think it is a show, if I devoted a bit more attention to, I would get into. So again, could be on this channel, we'll see. Sword Art Online belongs here, but I'm gonna put it here, and I'll explain why. So I watched Sword Art Online right up until Asuna gets out of the game and she's back in real life, right? And then I completely lost interest. So the concept, I wish the show played out a bit differently because the concept is fantastic. Like, they're all trapped inside this fantasy MMORPG. That's a sick concept, by the way, that they're like physically there. Like, that is what gripped me. That made me keep watching. And the whole concept of, like, again, 5-6 years ago, so I might be fuzzing on the details, the concept of they have to get through all the levels, you know, to get to the end of the game. I wanted to see a huge progression through all of that. And I think that would have been incredible. And we didn't really get that. We got a little bit of it, like fighting bosses and going up levels and like all the transportations, like back to other levels, I thought was really cool. But when it started going down the direction of Asuna and Kirito like getting together and like having a house together and like getting married like in the game, I was like, okay, this is cool. I don't mind this, but it's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted the show to be. And when they found a way to get out of the game early, I was like, oh, this is kind of cutting short what I was really enjoying about the show. Like, I thought the fights and the concept were really good. Characters were pretty good too. And honestly, I know nothing about the show after that point, so it could get better. But it is a show I would be happy to go back to. But the part of the show that I did watch was A tier to me because the concept was so cool. And I think it does belong behind Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works because I didn't finish it. And again, it didn't have any of those crazy moments that these ones have. So if I get more things here in A tier, I could see this going down to B. But if that happens, I think Death Note needs to drop. So we'll see what happens. Okay, the rest of these from here on They're all fantastic. One Punch Man is going, oh, I actually don't know. I'm gonna go here at the top of A for now. Okay, I've only seen season 1. Season 2, very real chance I react to on this channel. Season 1, it was so good. Very, very short, but the pacing was great. And the concept is just hilarious. Like One Punch Man, like I love Saitama, I love Genos. And I've gone back and watched it, I think maybe twice after my initial watch. And it was just as good each time. The whole ending sequence, Saitama versus Boros, was really good. Like with the theme playing in the background, the first character that has survived a punch from Saitama, I loved it. And it gave me that feeling a little bit. That whole sequence does give me that feeling. So it's bordering on entering S tier, but that is the only moment. And it is a short series, and I haven't seen season 2, so I think with all that considered, it does belong here at the top of A. I would love to watch season 2. I've seen the first few episodes. I know it involves King and whatnot, but One Punch Man season 1, very top of A tier. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and a fantastic opening. Okay, these next two are the easiest choice I will make all day. And if you're paying any amount of attention to anything I've got going on in the background back here, you know where these are going. So Attack on Titan is going to the very top of S tier, and it will not be moving. I first found this show in 2019. I believe 6 years, might even have been 2018. So 5 to 6 years after it initially released as a show, I believe. 2013 was when it came out, I believe. At this point, I had seen, these shows, and I had my opinion on what I thought anime was. And I was still very naive and shallow enough to analyze a show completely based on the title. Attack on Titan, what does that mean? And obviously people were talking about it. People were talking about it forever. Attack on Titan, Attack on Titan. I'd never seen anything from it. I knew absolutely nothing what it was about. I just knew the name. And what does the name mean to me? Just on surface level. Attack on Titan. What is Titan? Titan to me, one of the moons of Saturn, right? That's all I knew Titan to be. Attack on Titan. Are we attacking the moon Titan of Saturn? Is there a civilization there? Is it a space show? Is there aliens? How wrong could I have been? And how wrong was I to analyze probably the greatest piece of media to ever exist purely based on the name? So what made me start watching this show? Now I saw a clip, a Crunchyroll clip or a Funimation clip or something on my feed in 2018 or 2019. I think it might even have been 2018. It was the end of season 1, or towards the end. There'll be no spoilers in here, by the way. And if I'm spoiling Attack on Titan or Demon Slayer, which I'll talk a lot about too, stop watching this damn video and go and watch those shows and just make your life better. So I saw a clip of towards the end of season 1, after Annie, as the female Titan, has just annihilated Levi's squad, and Eren transforms into a Titan. So all I saw was Eren's transformation. He does this thing, he bites himself, and he transforms. And then he's a big Titan. That's all I saw. And I just thought, that is the single coolest thing I have ever seen outside of Dragon Ball Z transformations. Straight up. I am a huge sucker for transformations. That's why I love Dragon Ball so much. And that grabbed me. It was over. I went straight on and I just binged the first season. I never looked back. I owe so much to this show. I'm going to do an entire separate video on Attack on Titan when the finale drops in the coming months, I believe. Because I owe so much to this show. It has influenced the way I live, as have these two, as has Demon Slayer, which I'll get to. Attack on Titan has made me feel ways that no other show has. It's not the same as Dragon Ball or Demon Slayer. It's so different, and it's just incredible. And I could go on, but I will save that for another video. I have a bit more to say on Attack on Titan, but what I'm also going to do, Demon Slayer. So that came very shortly for me after I started watching Attack on Titan. And I had a very similar experience with it to how I started watching it as I did with Attack on Titan. I saw a clip on Funimation, on whatever, on my feed, and it was of Zenitsu versus the Spider Demon when he uses Thunderclap and Flash sixfold. Just that 3 or 4 second clip with all the crazy epic effects, his eyes just white, and it made me feel, based on visuals and just the overall feel of the clip alone, the same way I did watching Gohan transform into Super Saiyan 2. which for me is a massive deal. And that was it. I was in. Demon Slayer, pretty broad, like it's pretty open with the title about what it is, right? So I didn't really have an excuse. I just hadn't started watching it yet. But I did get in when there was about 5 episodes left in season 1. So I was able to watch the last 3 or 4 as they came out, which was fantastic. But instant, absolute, fantastic show. So the reason I've put these both together before I finish talking about Attack on Titan is I have read the mangas for both of these shows. After season 4 part 2 of Attack on Titan, I could not bear it anymore. I am a little bit upset about the way that they're finishing off the show with, season 4 part 1, part 2, and then 2 individual specials. It is what it is. It's still going to be fantastic, but I read the last 2 volumes so I could move on with my life and stop being consumed by thinking about what the ending is going to be for this show. And without spoiling anything, I was really glad that I did. I've gone back and read it at least 3 times. It's absolutely phenomenal. Demon Slayer, after season 2, I messed around a little bit and then I just went for it. Read the entire rest of the manga over 2 nights. It was here for a while for me. It was. After reading the manga, it was here. And it actually might be. I know I said Attack on Titan might not move, but by the time Demon Slayer finishes, it might end up here. But for now, I'm going to put it here out of pure respect for what Attack on Titan has done for me. But Demon Slayer, incredible. It is filled with those moments that I get, like from Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. And I'll go through a few of them. First of all, Tanjiro breaking the boulder. When you think it's Sabuto's mask and the way that shot transitions, it just gives me... The first time I saw it, it like gave me the craziest chills of my life. The way the scene is constructed, everything. And then Zenitsu as a character, obviously his big moment against the Spider Demon, the Thunderclap and Flash, sixfold, currently might be my favorite moment. It's very close in Demon Slayer so far in the anime. And then of course, the Hinokami Kagura, Tanjiro on the brink of death, Nezuko coming in with her exploding blood against Rui. That whole episode is just... It's just so good. It's just so good. The Mugen Train movie, phenomenal. Phenomenal. I had no idea what was going to happen in the show. The fact that a character like Rengoku can be introduced, like he was introduced in season 1, right? Very, very briefly. But the fact that we can get to know him as a character throughout the course of a movie, have him be that relevant and that important in the movie, and then for him to have that kind of impact on the rest of the show, on the characters, on us as viewers, on the plot, is just, it takes a lot for a show to be able to do that. But the whole movie, the way you think that the lower 1 demon is going to be the main demon of the movie, only for Akaza upper 3 to appear out of nowhere and just cause one of the coolest fights I've ever seen. Akaza versus Rengoku, the effects, the fighting, the choreography, the way it just presented this entire other level of strength in the show, phenomenal. Season 2, again, phenomenal. Tengen versus Gyutaro, fantastic. It's probably one of the only moments where I've just sat there just like their whole exchange at the end, it just had me like dumbfounded, lost for words. Like, this is incredible. There's so many great moments. Zenitsu's Godspeed, Inosuke almost coming back from the dead, Tanjiro's crazy moment against Daki, Nezuko transforming, fantastic. Season 3, again, fantastic. Murichiro, yes. Mitsuri, yes. Demon Slayer marks, yes. The way they constructed Nezuko conquering the sun, yes. Incredible. It made me break down crying, even though I had already read the manga. I'll stop ranting on about these two. Demon Slayer probably gets its own video at some point too. But these two, as well as these two as well, they've just changed my life. They changed the way I view the world, and they inspire and motivate me so much every day. And that's what I think is an S tier show to me. And now we get into some of the newer additions for me. Jujutsu Kaisen. I think it goes right here. Come on. So here's the deal. We are a season and a half, a season and 7 episodes into Jujutsu Kaisen at this point, plus the movie. This show has been a journey for me. I watched it before I read the Attack on Titan manga, but after season 4. So I watched the entire season 1, completely consumed mentally by Attack on Titan. So I did not really commit a lot of my attention. Granted, I really enjoyed it, but when I watched it a second time, it was so good. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed this show. The start of season 2 has also done fantastic things. The movie Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is easily S tier material for me. I enjoyed the movie more than season 1. Not to say I didn't enjoy season 1, but the movie was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. So this will be here, I reckon, by the end of season 2, if not later on. But right now, going off why these are here, it has not given me enough of those moments to warrant being up here with these shows. But I am really enjoying it. Let that be known. I am really enjoying it. My Hero Academia. I am completely up to date with this show. It took me a long time to get into and a long time to actually catch up. I think where it will end up is going to be here. Again, if we're going off the logic of what makes an S tier show for me, My Hero has not given me enough of those crazy moments that just fill me with that drive. Granted, it has, and I think what I'm going to do now that I think about it more is because I have seen, 5-6 seasons of this show compared to 1 and a bit here, this needs to be at the top of A tier. I love the character development of Deku and Bakugo, especially, and the growth that they show mentally and physically. The way that the story kind of creeps up on you as well, just how much lore there actually is in the show, and it's not just epic fights, let's all get better together kind of thing. It is fantastic. The last season especially was really good. It has just been such an enjoyable show with so many unexpected things going on, so many characters that all get their moments. I think they've done a fantastic job, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next season, which might even be the last one. I'm not exactly sure, but I love this show. It does a lot of fantastic things, but I think it belongs here at the top of A tier, ahead of JJK and One Punch Man at this point. Okay, the last two, Vinland Saga. I am towards the end of season 1. I am thoroughly enjoying this. This is easily A tier, but right now I have not finished it. The channel has taken up a lot of my free time that I was using to watch shows like this and One Piece, but this will be something I'm going to catch up on. I would love to put it on the channel as well, but I did have issues. I was uploading Jujutsu Kaisen and they all got taken down. I'm not having any issues with the older shows that I'm doing, but we'll see. But I am really enjoying this. It's like, the fact that it's set in the past is so different to all these other shows that are all futuristic with so many fantasy elements, but it's really surprised me and it's doing a great job. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, obviously, if you're a fan of the channel, you know that this belongs down here, maybe even up here, as I'm still watching it. I am 21 episodes in currently. Would be very unfair to put it in S tier. I'm putting it right here for now. Like I said, I'm very early on. It's given me a few moments to rival some of this. Not on the same level, but it's showing that it can. And I'm very much enjoying this show, like with a plot rivaling that of Attack on Titan in ways. Okay? I'm not putting it above Jujutsu Kaisen yet because I have seen more Jujutsu Kaisen. Same deal with My Hero. But I would love to revisit this after I finish Fullmetal and a couple other shows and see where I end up putting this. But if you guys watch my videos, you know I have nothing but good things to say about this show. Plot is fantastic, characters are great, pacing phenomenal, and it's just been such an incredible experience to react to this show. And all of you watching, commenting, liking have just made it that much better for me. I'm going to revisit this now that everything is out there and see if I want to change anything. Because when I look at this, these are all potential S tier. This should go here. I'm very sorry, Fullmetal. These 4 are potential S tier shows. These 2 for me are not. Therefore, I think they should go down here. Okay? Maybe Death Note goes down here because I did say that before. These, no question to me, are S tier shows. My Hero, I think, is a perfect top A tier show for where I'm at with this. Jujutsu Kaisen, I think a lot of people might disagree with this, but I'm going off the fact that we've just started season 2. I've seen a lot more from these shows than I have of Jujutsu Kaisen, and it does have potential. But I need to see more, right? I need to see more. There's a lot I want from this show. One Punch, I think, is perfect here. Again, I've only seen the 1 season, It was really good. I very much enjoyed it. I think it's just behind Jujutsu Kaisen. Fullmetal, again, I've only seen 20 episodes, but it's doing very well. I want to finish this so badly. It belongs here. Fate, Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, I think that could almost be here. I really enjoyed it. I think it does belong here. I really enjoyed it. It was so good. I would happily go back and watch it again, just as a standalone series. Like that, it was really good. Again, none of those moments that warrant up here, unless I go back and watch, but I really think this is a perfect place for it. Which makes me think Sword Art does belong here. I enjoyed it. Like I said, the concept, great, but it just did not grab me after that first arc, I guess you can call it. And then Death Note, yep, same deal. I did not finish it. It was good, but it just did not grab me in the same way any of these shows did to want to continue with it and finish it. And these, like I said, they are all down here because I did not watch nearly enough of them to warrant giving them a fair placement, especially One Piece and Naruto that I know are very highly regarded amongst the community, but I would love to get these up here eventually. That is partly why I started this channel, so I could get through all of these shows that I wanted to and just really have a reason to sit down and really pay attention. And I'm so glad I've done that for Fullmetal, because I know for a fact if I watched this casually, I would not have picked up on nearly half the things that I have. And it's made the show so much more enjoyable. I feel so invested, and I can't wait to do that with more shows in the future. So that's going to do it, I think, for my anime tier list. And I'm actually really happy with that. Like I said at the start, I didn't know where things were going to end up, apart from these guys. I said I might not have anything in C tier, but after going back and looking at things here, we have Death Note down here, Sword Art down here. But I'm really happy with this. So that's fantastic. And now I just want to give a little update on the channel, what my plans are and where I'm heading. So obviously the goal for me doing this is to be able to do it full time, right? That would be just a dream come true for me. I can't lie. It's the truth. And in order for me to do that, I know I need to be incredibly consistent. And given my schedule, I have a lot going on outside of this in my personal life right now that I need to devote time to. I can see a world where I'm uploading 5 to 6 times a week, and I want to make that happen. And it's going to take a lot of grinding, a lot of not having a huge amount of free time, which I'm perfectly willing to do, and I'm going to give it a try. So what I'm going to do is maybe a week or so from when this video drops, I would love to have 6 videos going up a week. I would like to devote 2 days to Fullmetal, and then 4 other days split between 2 other shows I'm going to start watching. So those shows are going to be Hunter x Hunter and Avatar: The Last Airbender. A few people have suggested Hunter x Hunter. It is literally on par with Fullmetal for me in terms of shows I've always wanted to watch. I'm so glad I picked up Fullmetal. I have heard fantastic things about Hunter x Hunter. I have heard mixed opinions, don't get me wrong, but I've heard a lot of fantastic things about Hunter x Hunter. So I would love to devote 2 days to that as well. I think it's double the length of Fullmetal, so it could be on the channel for a while. And then Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, I have a lot of history with this show. It's something I never finished. Same problem with Naruto and One Piece. I'd get a few episodes in, something else would steal my attention, I wouldn't have finished it. And it's a show I need to have under my belt. I want to go through all of Avatar: The Last Airbender and then The Legend of Korra, and I would love to devote 2 days to that on the channel as well. So that's where I'm at. I'd love to be doing 6 videos a week. I feel like I've been doing just enough to stay consistent, and the fact that I've hit 100 subscribers by doing what I feel is just enough, like almost the bare minimum, is crazy to me. So I would love to see what can happen and what I can do and what we can do as a community if I put more time and effort into all of this. But I'm really enjoying it. Like I have continued to say, you guys interacting with the videos and in the comments has made it so much more enjoyable, and I'm really looking forward to what we can all do in the future, what the channel could potentially grow to be looking like. The main goal for me for this was to have fun, so as long as I'm having fun, I'm going to continue doing this, and I'm having an absolute blast. But that's going to do it for this video. I have no idea how long this is going to end up being, but I hope it's not too long. If you watched the whole video, thank you so much. Please feel free to like and consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, please feel free to give me some feedback. I always appreciate it. Leave in the comments what your favorite shows are, more suggestions about shows you want to see me watch too. I'm more than open to delving into new genres or shows I haven't even thought of before. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you all again so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.